This week on The Digital Coffee, Amazon gets in on live audio. Podcasts are coming to Twitter, and Instagram is going to give creators more credit for their work. All that and more after this. Good morning, and welcome to The Digital Coffee. This is your weekly dose of digital marketing and social media news for small business. My name is Amanda Webb, and I just lost my mug there for a minute. I couldn't find it, but I'm back. If this is your first time joining, you're very welcome. A big shout out to everyone who's watching on LinkedIn, which is the newest place where this live show is broadcasting. Do say hi and let me know if you're on LinkedIn. A big shout out to YouTube. I love you. And to the place where this all started, a big shout out to you on Facebook. If you are watching on those channels, you will see there is a link either in the description or the chat that will show you where you can download your copy of the Digital Coffee newspaper, which has all the stories I'm going to talk about and all the links you need to follow to read more. So before we get started, I'd love to know, because we are sharing this coffee break together, what is in your mug today? Is it tea? Is it coffee? Is it something else? Let me know in the comments. I have just had a giant cup of tea. There is nothing in this mug because, as you know, I'm not allowed to drink coffee before this show because then I talk too fast. I do. Without any further ado, let's get on to the news.
Hi, I'm Charlie Lawrence and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Amazon has just launched in America a live audio app. Forgot what it was then. A live audio app. Yes, they are getting in on the live audio game. Started by Clubhouse, of course. Really enjoyed very much on Twitter Spaces and other social networks. The likes of Spotify are doing this. And now Amazon is doing it. But on Amazon, it's different. When you get the app, you will be able to run a live audio show. But what's really cool is you will be able to play music from the Amazon library of music on your show for free. People will be able to listen to that music for free. So it's more like a traditional radio show, which I think could be really cool. You can have up to 5 people involved in the broadcast, just 5. So that will keep everything a little bit civilized. There won't be all those grabbing for the microphones that you had. And I think this will be particularly good for the people like DJs. I know DJs had a lot of problem with Facebook Live. Obviously, if they were playing copyrighted music, Facebook was muting it, which meant, there was no point doing it. Of course, there are really good reasons for that. There's copyright laws in place. But this could be a place for those people to show off their skills. And also, I was thinking if you wanted to record a podcast, this would be a really good way to do that, because wouldn't it be way more interesting if instead of just an interview with people talking, your guest could choose musical tracks? And then I got to thinking, there are businesses that create Spotify playlists so that you have the correct musical ambience around when you are using their product. I came across this with an Italian I think it's an ingredients company, and they have a Spotify playlist for when you are cooking your Italian food. So actually having a radio station that people use, or a show that people use for when they are using their product, that could be a really good way to use this tool. Either way, I'm never the biggest lover of Amazon in the world, but I do love this idea. I love this concept, and I'm looking forward to seeing when it gets rolled out elsewhere. Well, a good morning to Ginny, who's on Facebook. Just one cup of tea so far. Only had one cup of tea so far. So I'm imagining you're wishing you had more. Good morning to May King, who is my wonderful co-host on Twitter Spaces. At 10:30 a.m. we have a Twitter space where we discuss these stories in more detail. So do come and join myself and May King for that. If you're on Twitter, just look for my profile at Spiderworking and you will see a pinned tweet. Drinking Japanese green tea. You love that Amazon has gone for audio. And of course, our friend Tim Lewis runs a live video show on Amazon. So part of me is wondering, will Amazon be using this in some way to sell? Because there's got to be an end game for them, really, hasn't there?
Hello, this is Rob Charles, the voice of Mike on Forever FM on Peter Kay's Car Share. BAFTA award-winning, I've got to say, but I've not seen the BAFTA yet. Anyway, you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb. Enjoy. I'm on tea. Shh.
Twitter wants your content. We saw recently, didn't we, that they were working on a way for you to write articles on your Twitter profile. There was going to be a tab and you'd be able to write a long form article, which isn't very Twitter-like, but I think that could be cool because you could pin it to the top of your profile. It's a really good way to show your expertise. But now it looks like they're working on something else. They're working on possibly a podcast tab. This was spotted by Alessandro Paluzzi. Am I saying his name right? Alessandro Paluzzi. He's a reverse hacker, so this isn't available to anyone yet. It's something they're just testing. But as you can see on the sidebar menu here, there is a podcast tab. It was also spotted by Jane Munchen Wong, who is another reverse hacker, at the bottom on mobile, where the Spaces tab is now. There's kind of a mixture of a kind of microphony thing and a Spaces tab that she's seeing. So it does look like this is going to become a thing. So for me, this says that, and the fact that they're thinking about articles, that Twitter is serious, is really serious about wanting long form content. And I know the Twitter purists are not going to be happy with this. They say Twitter is about one thing, it's about short updates. And we talked about how homogenizing the social networks, they all kind of do the same thing, is sometimes a bad thing and sometimes a good thing. But I do think in this case, it could be a good thing. We've seen that people will endure long form content on Twitter in Spaces are hugely popular. So they will endure other long form content types too. The problem for us as marketers, of course, is if all of these start doing the same things, is we're going to have two choices. We're going to have a choice. Do we create one piece of content and put it across LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, wherever else? Or do we focus on one social network? I'm reading about branding at the moment and kind of the brands that we know, like P&G, who own all those kind of soap brands, but they also have food brands and they bring them all together. They do exactly the same pretty much as Unilever, but people will be still loyal to the brand they want first and then choose a second brand. Is this the way that social networks are going to be in the future? Or am I just going completely off track? Good morning to Kate, who is drinking tea. Glad to see you here, Kate. Good morning to Melanie. You had a coffee this morning and now been good and having a water. And hello, long form content on Twitter. I knew you would like it. I knew you would like it, Making. Looking forward to talking to you about that later. I feel like I need to say now that I'm going to Social Media Marketing World tomorrow. So I'm on this weird long haul trip kind of thing to get rid of jet lag. So I have to drink caffeine between now and 12. It's a really hard job. And that's just to tell you that next week it will be a pre-recorded show, but it will be shot in California. So it will be a little bit different. What else have we got in the news?
Hello, this is Rob Charles, the voice of Mike on Forever FM on...
I'm Esther.
And I'm Melanie.
From the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast.
And you're watching The Digital Coffee
with Amanda Webb.
I didn't want to play Mike twice. Why'd I pay him twice? Why did I pay him twice? So there was Melanie and there is Melanie on screen. Now, as more and more people choose to go into the creator business, they choose this as a path. It's a really difficult business to go into, but there are a lot of people that want to do it. It is becoming more important that the people that do work together and collaborate get credit for their work. And this does happen already. Creators will get together maybe to create an Instagram, a reel. What is an Instagram? An Instagram post, a reel, or maybe a TikTok video, and they will credit the people that work on it. So, for example, you might have a stylist, you might have a makeup artist, you might have someone who's providing the music. And at the moment, creators on Instagram at least will be able to tag the people who were involved in it. But that tag was just, a regular tag. It was just their name. And they, of course, I'm sure they were crediting them in the captions as well. But Instagram are going to formalize this. So now they're introducing something called people tags. If you're a creator, you can go and you can update this. You can say what it is that you do. So at the moment, when somebody tags you, it's Jane, but you might be able to say Jane the stylist. And then when they go to tag you in their picture, this is more like a product tag. They'll be able to tag you in the story, in the reel, in the picture, and it will appear almost like a product tag as Jane the stylist. I'm all for this. I think everyone needs to get credit for their work, but also it means that for creators, people will be able to see their contribution to specific things, much like, at the end of a TV show or at the end of a movie, there's credits. They're there so that it proves that people actually worked on something, and it will help those people get jobs in the future. So I think this is a really good step from Instagram. We have to accept that the creator industry, it's a job, and people do need to get more credit for the work they do, of course. Good morning to Laura. Great to see you here over. Is anyone on LinkedIn? If you're on LinkedIn, do give me a shout out. I want to see you here. Good morning to Laura, who is drinking tea. Catherine, great to see you here. You'll need more coffee. Yes. More coffee. Everyone needs more coffee. I can't wait until my coffee at the end of the show. Good morning to Deirdre. Great to see you here. Looking forward to seeing some of you on Spaces at 10:30 a.m. Look at the pinned tweet on my profile.
Hello, this is Nicole from Wonderstars, and you are watching Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
If something isn't producing results in your business, stop doing it. Stop it. Well, Instagram are taking that advice to heart because they have started getting rid of their standalone apps. It wasn't so long ago where Facebook and Instagram were all about having all the apps. You might remember Facebook used to have a Pages app, a Creators app, a Messenger app. I'm looking because I knew there were more, a Groups app, all of the apps. And now they've got rid of most of those. They even had little subsidiary apps that did all sorts of weird things. But they got rid of all those. They've only got the the business suite app now, and the main app and Messenger. They've really consolidated everything in one place. And it looks like Instagram are cutting away the apps that aren't working for them as well. There was an app called Threads. It was there for a little while. It is gone now. It went at the end of last year. Last week, we saw they got rid of IGTV, the standalone IGTV app, gone. And somebody noticed this week that they got rid of the standalone Boomerang and Hyperlapse apps. Yeah, I know. I bet you didn't even know that they had these apps, but I did because I use them all the time. And when I'm teaching people how to use videos, I show them how to use this. Boomerang was like the effect that you get on stories, except it was an app where you could just make those without having to go into stories. Hyperlapse speeds up the action. They were both really cool apps to use. Gone. And obviously they're gone because not enough people are using them. Not enough people knew they existed. So why not consolidate them all in one place? It's smart from Instagram's point of view, but I have to say, I'm a little bit disappointed. Good morning, Johnny. Great to see there is somebody watching on LinkedIn. Anyone else on LinkedIn, give me a shout out. It's great to see you here, Johnny. Long time no see. Hopefully we'll, now that all the restrictions are over, we'll bump into each other somewhere at some time.
Hi, Sasha Lydia from Think Outside the Bot, and you're watching the Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Prepare to be annoyed. Are you annoyed yet? Facebook is changing its layout on desktop again. Your homepage layout is going to be completely changed. They're testing it with a small group of users, and it's well, obviously, it's like since Facebook begun, I remember they have changed their layout so many times, and every time it is a big shock to the system. And it doesn't seem that long ago that they last changed it, did it? What is this change? What does it look like? Well, this is what it looks like. They've moved all the navigation from the top to the sidebar. And it's a nice little line at the bottom, and you click it and it opens up, and then it takes up the whole screen. Everyone hates it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to hate it. I'm pretty sure I'll get used to it and stop moaning about it at some stage. It's it's not pretty. And one thing that is really interesting is it doesn't match the mobile outline, the mobile app experience at all. And before, it's always been, oh, we want to bring the mobile and the desktop experience aligned. We want them to be together. But it seems not anymore. Not unless they're going to change the mobile app. I don't like it, but I will like it. I'm sure we'll all get over it eventually. Good morning to Katie. Great to see you here. And you're on Facebook this week. It's like, where's Katie this week? This is a little challenge that we need to do each week. Next week, Katie, I expect to see you on YouTube. Just saying.
This is Making Sang, First Name Making from the FOMO Creator, and you have been watching The Digital Coffee Show with Amanda Webb.
Do you want to work with influencers and creators? If you do, working with an agency can sometimes be the smart thing to do, because of course they're going to take some money, it might cost you a little bit more, but they do all the work for you. They find the right person for your business. They help you deal with contracts. All of that is taken care of. They just deliver the influencers. So agencies can be good. Of course, you might want to do the work yourself, and that's absolutely fine. If you're a creator, how do you get an agent? That is the question. Well, TikTok want to make it easier, or it looks like, because this is a little bit confusing. If you are a live creator, so if you do live streaming on TikTok, you're going to have this option to tag yourself as something really confusing. She looks at her notes. You can tap agency invitation. You can say you want an agency invitation. And then that marks your account so that agencies will be able to find you and choose to work with you, which you will go, yay, this sounds great. This means that they're going to be people I can go to work with these particular creators. But what confuses me is that when you read on, what is this agency that they're talking about? What is it? It doesn't seem to be what I would traditionally think of an agency for, although agencies do this work too. So we're going to have to wait and see. But TikTok are talking about these being live talent agencies, and live talent agencies will help develop and coach growth within live. That sounds like a mentor more than an agency. So again, we are going to need to wait and see. But if it is the traditional agency option, I think that would be a good thing. Good morning. There is Orla on her second coffee. Orla, I haven't had my first yet. I am very jealous. Thanks for joining me. What have we got next? I just don't know.
Hi, I'm Danielle from Red Bow, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Stories on Instagram. They've fallen out of favour. They've fallen out of being the most exciting thing on Instagram. Instagram really is all about reels. So if you've noticed that you're not getting as many views on your stories as you used to, it could be because you're losing those viewers to reels. But that doesn't mean it is over. It does not mean it is over by any stretch of the imagination for stories. No, because Instagram are still working on new features for stories. And the new one, it's kind of cool. It's called Dual. Again, this is just in the works at the moment. We don't know if it's actually going to happen. But what this does is it will activate both cameras on your phone, your selfie camera and your back-facing camera. So this could be really good for giving a guided tour or showing people behind the scenes. I'm hoping you will be able to put your selfie mode into that small little window at the top right hand side and make the main screen what you're looking at, because that would be a real benefit within this, but it is pretty cool. So stories are still a thing. They're still developing features. Don't abandon them just yet. Just a big shout out. Good morning to James. Great to see you here. Hopefully you'll be able to join us for our Twitter space. Good morning to Val, who's on lemon and ginger tea. And a really long comment, so I'm just going to read through this from Deirdre. Is it possible Facebook are planning on playing to the strengths of each platform? A user convenience, as opposed to mobile and desktop. I was wondering that myself. A couple of things that struck me about the new Facebook layout was, yes, are they going to make the Facebook platform on desktop just better for desktop and the mobile experience better for mobile? And that would make sense because there are a lot of people, me included, that use Facebook a lot on desktop. But then I was thinking kind of I use it on desktop and mobile, so it would be nice if the experience was similar. The second thing that occurred to me is this going to be a design trend? Are we going to see a lot more side navigations on other websites? Are they just following a trend? It is going to be really interesting to see what happens with that. Ginny says that they've developed stories. Let's hope it happens. There is actually a really cool app from Filmic Pro that's called Duo or Duel or something similar that does exactly the same thing. So if you just wanted to shoot a video that way, that could work for you too. That is it for the news. James, you missed it, so you're going to have to turn up to our space. Oh, just another one. We have numbers on the right of our names in the live comments today whilst watching on Facebook. I wonder what that's for. Oh, that is interesting. Is that the first time you've seen it, Katie? I haven't noticed that before. That's very interesting. Okay, I was about to say, that is it for the Digital Coffee for this week. I will be back, same bat time, same bat place next week, but it will be pre-recorded because I tried doing one at 3 a.m. in San Diego before. It didn't work out well. So I will be shooting on the sunny streets of San Diego and broadcasting it here this time next week. And the following week, I am having a week off. So I will see you and I will look forward to seeing your comments on that post next week. And we will see each other live, I'm sure, very, very soon. Until then, bye-bye.